This is the Phoenix Podcast with Ken Sharp.
Being forged from nothing is one of my favorite subjects. And my book that I wrote this year, my daughter did an autobiography for me called From Nothing. You know, when we talk of the pressures of life, if we look at the most valuable jewels we have, one of them is a diamond, right? And that starts its life as just a piece of carbon worth nothing. And yet, after millions of years and extreme pressure under the ground, it becomes into that beautiful jewel that we value so much. Pearls are formed in the mollusk, which is the muscle of a shell, aggravating it. It's a piece of sand, a grain of sand, just a common grain of sand, that aggravates that muscle, and the muscle coats it all the time with this beautiful coating that eventually becomes a pearl. So share with our viewers, take us back to the beginning, those tough times, your childhood. Tell us a bit about your history, where you were born, your upbringing, your parents, and how you became driven to achieve this greatness that you've done today.
I grew up in the farms in Karoi Urungwe, in a very small town called Tengwe. So my father was working in a hardware supermarket there, and so I would say I was not in the art peripherals. I was really outside, and I didn't know much about art, but I was a kid who loved drawing, and I had a passion for drawing, and my parents were just encouraging me. I don't know why, but they kept encouraging me, and I kept going, and to an extent where I would say I got stuck, and this became the only thing which I can do very well, and I kept doing it. And
From what age, Mafa? Take us back. How old were you?
Before school.
Before
I
school.
was already
So
drawing.
as a toddler?
Yes.
So we're talking 3-4 years old?
Yes, I was already
Amazing.
drawing. So even when I went to school, I struggled to write because all my books I would fill with the doodles and drawings.
Right.
And I kept going up to secondary level. In my small neighborhood, I had a bit of recognition. People were giving me small commissions to write names on shop fronts, things like that, and that kept me going and encouraged me also. I remember my father used to take some of my drawings to show to his colleagues at his workplace, and so I had a lot of family support from a young age. And when I was a young adult, because I didn't know much about this art industry, it was quite a mystery. But because I had sort of imaginations from what I could see, maybe from television, and characters would portray these artists and living this nice life, and that was the imagination which I had for artists, and I had that dream of becoming that person. So when I came to the capital, to Harare, around I think 2004, I started to inquire and ask around, what should I do, where can I go? And someone told me of Harare Polytechnic, that they offer a diploma for
And up to
fine
then
arts.
you'd had no formal training?
No.
No art teacher?
Not
no
at
one taught
all.
you to draw or
Yeah.
paint?
Yes.
Self-taught? Inspiration?
And you can imagine from schools in sort of rural areas, they don't even have like proper
Materials.
art lessons
Right.
and so on.
Did they even have paper to paint on?
No,
Paint?
no. I only started to know of proper like A3, A2 paper when I was in college.
Imagine.
Even to
And you're
know
now a young man in your
pencils.
20s, right? We're talking about.
Yes.
I believe you were born in 1983, 84?
83, yes. So I managed to apply for art studies at Harare Poly, and one thing I can tell you is I gathered all of my drawings. I had a huge portfolio, and I took it to Poly and said, I want a place here. They looked at me, they say, you don't have any education background, and your drawings, they are all in sort of reject paper, which I was drawing at the back side of paper. And I didn't know also how to properly store artworks. So these were kind of taking funny color, and I was keeping them for years and years. And they looked at me, and they were kind of shocked, but kind of, it looked sad. to me because they were showing me that how can you keep works like this. But fortunately enough, I think I managed to get a place there, and I told them I want to start for fine arts. They said, no, you start for applied art and design first, then
Okay.
you major into art.
So you got accepted into college.
Yes.
And how long were you there for?
3 years, but I also managed to get to be a resident artist. So I got to be a resident artist for 2 years.
In where? Where were you based?
At Harare Poly.
At Harare.
The funny story is I didn't graduate at Harare Poly
Okay.
because I would say I was a bit rebellious because I had my own imaginations of what an artist should do and what art should do to people anyway. So at Harare Poly they had sort of Eurocentric curricula.
Mm-hmm.
You know, would start the art movements and art isms from Europe.
Right.
So the art history is pretty much centered on that.
Right.
And to me, I really wanted to see how art can affect real lives of my people and how art can speak about Zimbabwean lives, African lives, and so on.